Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong life for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Wealth Coffee Chat, Finance Friday. I will start with another joke that I found that has to do with finance. So, why was the maths book unhappy? It had too many financial problems. Today, I actually wanted to have a chat with everybody about their credit file and whether you actually know what is your credit file and the information it contains in the information their credit file actually contains. Now, basically, your credit file is a document that lenders in Australia can take a look at to see whether you're actually worthy of lending money to. So the information that exists on the credit file, first of all, is all your personal information, full name, date of birth, address. It actually includes your current employment as well. Every time you do a credit inquiry, it gets double checked and your employment gets updated. So it actually also has a history of your employment as well. Morning, Chris. The other thing on there is it actually has a credit score. So it actually has a number on a colored scale. So obviously it goes from red to orange to green. Now the credit score is actually based on the amount of money you borrow, the number of credit applications you've made, and whether you are paying that debt on time. Okay. The other information that it has is the actual credit product that you have held in the last 2 years, including the credit provider or the credit limit when it was open and how your repayments are currently going at the moment. So it actually will let the lender know if you've been making your repayments on time. Also, if that credit facility has been borrowed in your individual name or along with a partner. All your credit inquiries. So anytime you have thought and gone to a lender requesting credit, requesting a loan, that is actually all listed on your credit file as well. Any requests for financial hardship will also be listed on that file. Any defaults that are currently existing on any of your loans are all registered on there. All loan applications. So if you submit a loan application to any lender, it will come up on your credit file. Those of you who actually have borrowed, you may actually notice that on occasions, your broker will come back and ask if certain credit inquiries have been proceeded. In the past, what had happened was you apply for credit, but the credit file doesn't actually list whether you have proceeded with that credit or not. That's changed more recently to now it's showing what credit is actually on your credit file and also how those loans are actually performing in terms of your repayments. Any bankruptcies or any debt agreements that you enter actually gets listed on your credit file as well. And a list of all the companies you're a director of or any businesses that you're currently running or have run in the past are all listed on your credit file. The other thing with your credit file as well to note is that if you own your own business, there actually are two credit files. There's one in your personal name and one under the business as well. One look. So how do you access your credit file? There are actually 3 companies that hold different credit files. There is Equifax, there is Ilion, and there is Experian. So all 3 of them have credit files. Now, the most popular one that most lenders use is Equifax and Ilion. If you guys Tim, the loans actually stay on your credit file for 2 years. So it's all listed there for 2 years before the loans disappear off your credit file. The things that we need to look out that will actually affect your credit file is when you have multiple loan inquiries, either at the same time or in a very short period of time. So say within a week, if for whatever reason there is 10 loan applications or credit inquiries, then that will dramatically affect your credit score. Now, the thing that needs to be noted, and I've had clients experience this in the past, is that there are people who want to look at all the different loan options themselves. And what I've had clients do is actually apply for a credit inquiry online. And as soon as they did that, it registered on their credit file. Now you can imagine if you're doing your own research, you may do 5 or 10, 15 inquiries, not actually applications, but just inquiries, which then resulted in a bad credit score, which means that most of the major lenders won't look at your loan application. Now, there are lenders out there who will take a look at your credit score, but then come back and ask, the reason that the credit score number is so low. And obviously in those situations, we can explain it. But be very careful in terms of making any inquiries. When you're talking to your broker, it is a good idea to ask them to take a look at your credit file, but also when they put through the loan application or when they do an inquiry with the lender, whether that's going to actually impact your credit file. As brokers, we can talk to lenders and not have it appear on your credit file. So that's a tip for everybody who is talking to their broker. Now, during the week, we have had some challenging applications with a few of my team and their clients. Now, what I wanted to share with everybody here today is that the process of purchasing a property off the plan is requires a lot of planning for yourself and for the broker throughout the whole period. Now, we've had situations where our clients have been not managed through the process and have put themselves in a position to not be able to complete the purchase of an off-the-plan property. The situation is that, so the things to note, when we're borrowing, when we're purchasing property off the plan, is that if there are any changes to your financial situation, like if your job changes, if you're looking at sending your kids to private school, if you're taking out any personal loans, additional credit cards, or any additional debt, go back to your broker and let them know about it. Because we've had clients who've come back and said, oh, since the last time we spoke about the loan, here's what's happened since then. And those financial situations dramatically impact how much you can borrow, which means you may end up in a position of not being able to complete the purchase of an off-the-plan property. It's not to say that as brokers we're going to say, no, you can't do the loan. What we will do is we will manage, we'll help you manage through that situation and be able to set up whatever the milestones are so that when you get to the point of settlement that you're ready. So any changes, tell your broker the moment that change happens. Okay? Not just before settlement or when the loan, when the brokers are coming to you to do the application. Like the moment it changes, let them know. Okay? Because we want to make sure that we can map that out for you. The other challenge with completing off-the-plan purchases, if you're working with your broking team and you're organizing equity releases to have those funds available for settlement, make sure you put it in a place where you don't spend it. Now, depending on how you manage your money, you can use the offset account and store the money in there, just as long as you know that you won't touch that until the property purchase is completed. We've had situations where clients have seen the funds and they've gone off and used it in their personal world, and it had resulted in them not having the funds available for them to complete the off-the-plan purchase they originally were looking at. Now, if you are a person that you feel isn't so great with managing the money side of it, and if you see money, you have an urge to find a way to spend it, you can actually take those funds and put them inside the loan. So pay into the loan and have those funds sit there as a redraw. Now, money in the redraw usually requires a two-step process to access the money. So it has to go from your loan to an account, which is usually your direct debit account, the account that you make the loan repayments from. And then from there, you'll be able to access those funds. Usually that two-step process for a lot of people will ensure that they think about exactly what they're going to use the money for, which has helped a few of my clients in the past make sure that they don't spend the money because it was too complicated to access the money, and it made them think about whether they really needed it, and it resulted in the money staying inside the loan as a redraw. So those are my tips for managing any off-the-plan purchases, especially for those clients who currently are working with the Positive team. Recent loan, Chris. Our most recent loan hasn't shown up on my profile. How might this happen? Usually, lenders are pretty quick in getting that loan up and running on the credit file. depending on which lender you're with, and how quickly the process that they actually have to register that loan with the credit agencies, and also depending on the lender and if they've signed up with the open banking policy. Most of the major banks and quite a lot of the lenders that we deal with are have signed up with the open banking, so that that might be the reason why it hasn't shown up on your credit file. And also, what's the most recent credit report that you currently have? Tim, with First Mac settled in January. Oh yeah, First Mac definitely should have that on there. I will probably have a chat to First Mac to see if something slipped through the cracks on their system. So, but as far as I know, all my clients who have done loans with First Mac, it's all appeared on their credit file. Tim's asked, I brought an off the plan apartment 2 years ago when interest rates were lower, and come settlement earlier this year, I myself was not able to meet serviceability by myself with a higher interest rate. I brought my son on board as a guarantor to complete. Yeah, look, it's one of those challenges that you have, Tim, with purchasing off the plan, is not knowing how the market's actually going to change, but also, how your financial circumstances would change throughout those 2 years. Again, during that time, you actually never know what could actually happen. And that's, I think that's a great point that you make, Tim, as well, is that as the interest rate, as we've gone through interest rate increases, either yourself or the broker would have been good to check in and also do some, again, like I said before, just being able to manage the expectations or be able to create a plan. So I had, after 2 or 3 interest rate increases, we could have reached out to the broker and said, look, can we double check in regards to what my borrowing capacity is? And if it continues increasing, what are my options? You end up having a great solution with bringing your son on board to get it over the line. But yeah, it's to me, it's one of those things that, whether it's a 6-month or a yearly check-in with your finance broker, regardless of whether there are any changes, especially if there is changes that you might that you feel may potentially impact your borrowing capacity, absolutely reach out and get them to redo the numbers. Chris, I don't think there is any concern in regards to that. I think eventually it will get there, but probably, I would say happily leave it as long as, actually, no, just leave it. There's no reason for us to inquire why it hasn't appeared on your credit file. I think it'll eventually get there. In regards to your self-managed super fund, Tim, I mean, I think it is tough because the maximum contribution inside the super fund is quite limited. So you can only go up to your maximum. So there isn't a lot of wiggle room. So if interest rates do increase and it does impact your servicing, there's no way for us to, actually increase how much you can actually borrow. And it sounds like bringing your son in would have been the only way to get it all sorted. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend. And if you like and subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
Episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6-Star team here at positivementor.com.au.